Ave Regina,
Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. As Jesus passed by, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the customs post. He said to him, "Follow me," and he got up and followed him. While he was at the table in his house, many tax collectors and sinners came and sat with Jesus and the disciples. The Pharisees saw this and said to the disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" He heard this and said, "Those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do. Go and learn the meaning of the words, 'I desire mercy, not sacrifice.' I did not call the righteous, but the sinners." The Gospel of the Lord.
You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes only once in a lifetime. This was the mindset of St. Matthew when Jesus called him to follow him. If you look into the life of St. Matthew, he was leading a very comfortable life, and he was a wealthy man, important man in his day and age. As a tax collector, he was also disliked by many of the Jews and his fellow citizens of that time. But he showed himself to be a good man by his immediate response to Jesus' call. For most people, this sort of immediate response would not happen. Most people would have to first get to know Jesus, be convinced by him, need to think, and then decide if following Jesus was a good idea. Most people go through a long rationalizing of God's will before responding to God's call. But none of this was there in Matthew's response, saying yes to the call of Jesus. He left everything and followed him. That is what the gospel says to us today. Every day, God is calling us. Every day, he calls us to serve him radically and completely in one way or another. Every day, we have an opportunity to respond to Jesus' call. The key is to have two essential qualities to respond to Jesus' call. First, we must recognize the voice of Jesus clearly and unmistakably. We must know in faith what he says to us when he says it. Secondly, we must be certain that whatever Jesus calls or inspires us to do is worth it and to respond to it. If we can perfect these two qualities, we will be ever ready, like St. Matthew, to follow Jesus. Reflect today upon your willingness to imitate this apostle. What do you say and do when God calls each day? Where you see a lacking, then recommit yourself to a more radical following of Christ. You will not regret it. There is a saying, Life will only change when you become more committed to your dreams than you are to your comfort zone. So, my dear brothers and sisters, as we celebrate this great feast of Saint Matthew, let us ask for this special grace to follow him truly, intimately, and closely, and we will never regret in life.
Regina Celi,
Letare, Alleluia, qui ad